Everything you want to know about Fort Mill, South Carolina, that is coming up. So Fort Mill, South Carolina is probably one of the fastest growing areas in the Charlotte metropolitan area. It is a suburb of Charlotte. Yes, I know it's South Carolina, but Fort Mill is actually located just over the border of South Charlotte. So most of the people who are moving to Fort Mill will typically be working in Charlotte, or they will be remote. The commute time to uptown Charlotte from Fort Mill, depending where in Fort Mill you live, will be anywhere from 25 to 35 or 40 minutes, depending on traffic. It is going to be the same commute time as if you live in the south part of Charlotte or in Union County, or if you live in the north part of Charlotte in, let's say, Cornelius or Davidson. So what's the advantage to Fort Mill, South Carolina? Well, first of all, Fort Mill, South Carolina is fairly large, and there are many different areas of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Some of them are going to be more apt or more comfortable for some people because it's going to be much closer to shopping and action. Some parts of Fort Mill, South Carolina, while not far from the Charlotte border either, are going to be a little bit less developed, and those areas that are less developed will have less commerce. The commerce is coming. Trust me on this one. But it's not there yet in some parts of Fort Mill. In some parts of Fort Mill, it is right outside your door. So you can have everything at your doorstep, but if you're looking for something a little quieter, there is that in Fort Mill as well. Another big attraction for Fort Mill, South Carolina are the schools. People with kids, families with kids, are moving to the Fort Mill, South Carolina area and to the neighboring area of Tegakay, South Carolina, because of the highly rated schools. Fort Mill, South Carolina has some of the most highly rated schools in the Charlotte metropolitan area. The schools are new, some of them have just been built, so the schools are a major draw. You can look up the rankings of the Fort Mill schools online, but trust me, they are highly rated in the Charlotte metro area. And as far as South Carolina is concerned, the entire state of South Carolina, they are about the best schools in South Carolina. Another reason why people are moving to Fort Mill, South Carolina is because of property taxes. So property taxes are based on per $100. The tax rate in Fort Mill, South Carolina currently is 0.57 cents per $100. If it's $1 million home, your property taxes are going to be $5,700. That's if your house is appraised at $1 million. You can purchase a home for $1 million. However, South Carolina may appraise it for $850,000, which is common because appraisal values are typically lower than what you're actually purchasing the home for. Now in comparison, let's take that $1 million home because it's easy math for me. $1 million, let's say it's an appraised house at $1 million, 0.57, $5,700 property taxes. If you purchase the same house in Charlotte or Mecklenburg County, that home appraised for $1 million is going to be at a tax rate of 0.965. So $1 million house at 0.965 is $9,650 versus the same $1 million house at $5,700 in Fort Mill. Taxes in Union County are also lower than they are in Charlotte Mecklenburg. Those taxes are going to be at the 0.74 range per $100. So $1 million home in, let's say, Weddington or Marvin will be $7,400 in taxes. So Mecklenburg County, $96, Union County, $74, $5,700 in Fort Mill. So you got schools, you got taxes, quality of life. You've got a beautiful downtown area which is full of old town charm. You have the Ann Springs Greenway, which is full of greenery, and there's a strawberry festival there. You can go horseback riding there. You've got Carowinds, which is a major amusement park, half in Fort Mill, half in Charlotte. So it's got a very good quality of life. It is about 30 minutes on I-77 to get to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. So if you need to travel for work, you are very close off of I-77 to the airport. So that's an advantage as well. Again, commuting to uptown Charlotte is going to take you 35, 40 minutes, same as many parts of Union County or parts of Mecklenburg County. My name is Eli Magids, and I'm a real estate advisor here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and South Carolina, specializing in luxury homes, new home construction and custom homes. Most importantly, I am your realtor with heart. Not trying to sell you a house, but here to help you find a home and a lifestyle that you and your family are gonna love. Think that we are a good fit. You wanna join the family? Feel free to reach out. My info is down below. Make sure you stay tuned because we're only part of the way there. So there really are no drawbacks to Fort Mill. In addition, Fort Mill is relatively new. So if you're looking for a newer home or a new home build, Fort Mill may be the place to look. South Charlotte in particular, very hard to find new, good, solid construction. In Fort Mill, it is definitely possible to find some new construction. Now, Fort Mill also has several different areas. Home prices. I would assume that home prices, in order to find something really good, will start at about $700,000. Figure up to about 1.8 or 1.9, $2 million, $2.5 million. There's a neighborhood in Fort Mill that will go up to about $3.5 million. That's called Wisteria Meadows. That's it's only 10 homes, but you can go that high in the Fort Mill area. Now, some of the neighborhoods that I really love in the Fort Mill area, an all custom neighborhood called The Ridge in Fort Mill is all custom. You have to figure you're going to get a house there about 4,600 square feet, give or take. At this point, anywhere from 1.7 to $2.5 million. Right now, there's one new home for sale for $2.5 million. That is it. That is located in an area that does not have a ton of shopping right now. Right next to the Ridge is a gorgeous neighborhood, which is partially older and partially newer. It's called Trinity Ridge. Again, this is a neighborhood that you have to be looking at about $1.1 million up until over $2 million. There are a lot of new homes in this neighborhood that have just been completed by a builder called J.P. Orleans. Beautiful homes. Figure if those were for sale would be about $1.5 million. I think there is one home for sale currently in that neighborhood of Trinity Ridge for $1.1 million. Now, getting off of that side area of Fort Mill, you'll go onto a main street, and off of that main street is where you're going to find a lot of the new schools. Those are where the highly rated schools are located, and some of the neighborhoods are right across from the new schools. Some of the new schools are actually in the neighborhoods. One neighborhood that I love is called Nims Village. Nims Village is going to give you a little bit more greenery, more shrubbery. It's kind of southern in style. Very, very pretty homes. Figure a home on a resale basis there now would be anywhere from $900,000 to about $1.2 million. There were multiple builders in there, and there's only maybe one lot left, a basement lot, when you first pull into the neighborhood. Nims Village, I love. Directly across from there is a brand new school. Down the block is another neighborhood called Arden Mill. This is a Classica neighborhood. Classica has beautiful homes, multiple types of homes that can be built there, different models. It's semi-custom, so you can pretty much make the home the way you want it. They are down to their last handful of lots. They have no facilities there. They have smaller lots, but the product, the home, is beautiful. Again, right across the street from the schools, right down the block from the schools. Really don't have to worry about commute times to the school. However, like Nims Village and the other two neighborhoods I talked about, not a ton of shopping nearby. You're gonna have to travel a little bit. There is one Harris Teeter that just came up, and there is some new building coming along as well. So it is coming, not there yet. The next neighborhood I'm gonna take you to is a great neighborhood for multiple reasons. And this neighborhood is called Mason's Bend. You've got a beautiful facility there. You've got a clubhouse, you've got pool. You're right on the Catawba River, so you can actually take out a little boat off of the boat launch at the Catawba River in Mason's Bend. But the one thing that I really love about Mason's Bend is its location. It is directly off of I-77, maybe 5 minutes. So if you've got to scoot to uptown Charlotte, if you got to go to the airport, or you want to hit the major shopping area, you would hop on I-77, go 2 exits, and get off on Highway 160, where there is all kinds of shopping, everything you can think of. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. So that's Mason's Bend. 2 other neighborhoods that I love that are not near any of those 4 that I just mentioned. Was it 4 or was it 5? I don't remember. But there's Massey and the Enclave of Massey, also in Fort Mill. Great location. You're going to be closer to shopping and commerce than the other 5 that I just discussed. And the Enclave of Massey builds a beautiful home. Massey is also a very beautiful neighborhood, great facilities which are shared by both Massey and the Enclave at Massey. However, I find the houses in Massey to be a little tight, close together for my liking. Enclave at Massey, a little bit more expensive, probably about $1.1, $1.2 million at this point. Prices have gone crazy, but I like the Enclave at Massey better than I like Massey. Enclave a little bit more upscale. Now, if you take I-77 and you get off on that exit that I told you, right off of 160 is a major shopping area called Kingsley. It was an old mill that they turned into a shopping area. It has steak restaurants. It's got LPL Financial with a little lake in front of it. It has Mexican. It's got burger joints. It's got tapas. It's got everything in a very small town feel, really charming, but lots of offerings. I live in South Charlotte. I travel to Fort Mill to go there to eat. So Kingsley is one of my favorite places in that particular area of Fort Mill. And one of the best places to live in the Fort Mill area is right across from Kingsley, is an area called Baxter Village. But before that, we're gonna talk about 160. On 160, it's a major street. That major street also has tons of shopping, supermarkets and restaurants. You name it, 160 has it. That's the major shopping area of Fort Mill. So you've got Kingsley, you've got 160 shopping. Right off of 160 is one of the most popular neighborhoods in the Charlotte metro area and in South Carolina. It's called Baxter Village. Baxter Village is like a Charleston style neighborhood, different sizes, different shapes, different price ranges. You can get a smaller house there in the $600,000, $650,000 range, and you can get a house there for $2.5 million, depending on what part of the neighborhood in Baxter Village you're in. The $2.5 million or the $2 million homes, There are only about 10 or 15 of those. I'd say the majority of homes are going to be in the $700, $800, $900, $1 million range in Baxter Village, depending on the size, number of bedrooms, but it's probably one of the most charming of the neighborhoods here in the Charlotte metropolitan area. In addition, Baxter Village has its own shopping as well. It has a village. It's got outdoor eating, it's got restaurants, it's got your Starbucks, it has doctor's offices, dentist offices, it's got pools, it's got tennis courts, you've got a Y right in the neighborhood. It has everything self-contained in Baxter Village. However, what it doesn't have are the new homes that a lot of people are looking for. So for that, you'd have to go to other areas of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Now, the last neighborhood I'm going to talk to you about is in a completely different area than the other three areas that I've talked about, and it's called the neighborhood of Springfield. Springfield also has homes in the 1.1, 1.2, 1.4 million dollar range, and it also has Charleston style homes that are going to be in the $700,000 or $800,000 range. This neighborhood also has facilities, tennis, golf course, pools. It has got everything, and again, it's also in Fort Mill and Fort Mill schools. Now, each of these neighborhoods may have different school assignments, so you have to check on which schools are associated with that particular neighborhood, and then we look them up to see what the rankings are. But pretty much anything in the Fort Mill area is going to be highly ranked. In addition, if you want to go just down the block into Tega Cay, South Carolina, also a great place to live. We'll do a video just on Tega Cay. Schools there are also highly rated. Tax rate's the same. Commute to Charlotte is the same. The thing about Tega Cay is it brings you closer to Lake Wylie. So if you want to be on a lake and you don't want to go up north to Lake Norman, Tega Cay, Lake Wylie, that may be an area for you, and it's literally right next door to Fort Mill. I thank you so much for watching, and until we see each other again next time.